you are listening to Ultra Q episode 123. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
Hi, I'm Miyazaki voice.
Hang on. I have to remember what episodes we watched to remember why that's funny.
Third one.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's very true. Also joined by Brad.
Ruining all the power scaling subreddits by putting Sumo Boy up against their favorite shonen protagonists.
He just wins.
Unless
it's against Ultraman, who is
Sumo
Jesus.
Boy clears.
Well, the thing you also said, Super I just can't let Ultraman lose.
Exactly. We got 3 more episodes of Ultraman 80 today. We are just in kind of a coasting era, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I really like all 3 of these, actually.
Wait, really? Okay.
Yes.
Man, I didn't dislike any of the episodes. I don't have much to say about them.
Okay. Let's go. We have got episode 39. We're just gonna go in. Episode 39, I'm a Monster, featuring Tetsuon. A kid called Tetsuo turns into a kaiju and he doesn't want to turn back. How did this happen? Well, a mini UFO turned into a ball and he swallowed that ball and it turned out to be the seed of a space plant and then he turned into a kaiju. Anyway, he's super smart now and he can do telekinesis and he won a costume contest and the award was a camera, so he's going to make a TV show with his friends and he's going to be the star and he has no interest in turning back into a human boy. Then Takeshi says, "But are you sure?" And from that point on, being a kaiju sucks. Nobody wants him to do their homework because it doesn't feel like learning. Nobody wants to play baseball with him because he's too good. He loses the camera because he's not wearing a costume at all. He's a real kaiju, so that's not fair. And then it turns out that his parents do love him after all, so he'd like to be a human boy again, please. Then Takeshi is like, of course. He transforms into 80, shrinks, and defeats the space plant inside Tetsuon, turning him back into Tetsuo. The narrator helpfully informs us that if you eat something weird, you might turn into a kaiju. The end. So this is like a fun, goofy episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kanagon coded, so of course Brad likes it.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that until right now, but yeah. It really is.
I thought it was like the most obvious takeaway from the episode, but
See, I was so 80-brained watching this where I'm like, of course they do an episode like this where the kid turns into the monster. What really struck me about this episode, and I think there's an argument to be made that how intentional this is maybe a little bit up for debate, but the monstrous, he's mostly just a normal kid that looks like he's in a Chuck E. Cheese weird alien suit. Mm-hmm. But where the monstrous angle starts to come from is from how other people treat him after he looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people are the real monsters.
And I think there's a little bit of fun to be had there with UGM calls his parents to be like, your son's a monster, and then they immediately start blaming each other for whose fault it is. And I'm like,
that scene is great.
That's some juice. That's some juice.
I like this. I like this kid. I like his. I like the pivot in the episode where he's just he gets that hubris. He gets I can do anything. I'm a kaiju now. I'm I've got the telekinesis. I'm super smart. Everything's going to be good now. Now that I can just do everything, whereas before I was this kid who was kind of useless. I couldn't play baseball. I was really bad at school. And now I can do everything. I'll be number one and everyone will love me forever. And it turns out that that's not actually true. Because
that's not true.
Of course it's not.
And then Professor Xavier walks up and is like, hey, listen.
Oh, man. I think this is a pretty good episode. This is a good one of goofy kaiju hijinks.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like they're playing baseball and the flying saucer, and it's the flying saucer, but turned into a ball. Accidentally, I ate it.
Yes,
in a kerfuffle.
It's a really fast chain of events. He's just like, oh my god, everyone catch the UFO, catch the flying saucer, and ball just flies into his mouth. I like the costume competition bit, because like a guy rocks up in the fucking dressed as Ultraman 80,
and looks comes up.
Yeah, the 80 OP comes up and he... Oh, okay, hang on.
We should probably just mention in 2 of the episode.
We got a new opening.
Yeah.
It's not as good.
It's not.
Also, we're like 10 episodes from the end. Why bother?
Why?
Like, actually.
I don't know why, Century Color.
No, okay, that one stays. That one's
goated. That one's goated. That's allowed.
I'm just saying. It happens in Gun and Wing too.
I was about to say, isn't the second Wing OP pretty close to the end too?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good OP.
It is.
Thank you. I do like that for their YouTube upload of the opening
with beeps.
The Crunchyroll account included in brackets that they included the beeps.
Yeah.
Also, the TV station that broadcast Char's counterattack and the build-up to Hathaway, and then people complained because they cut to commercial right as like the credits started. So they uploaded the credits with Beyond the Time playing to their Twitter account as a "We're sorry."
Good.
Very good.
Good. It's beyond the time. Come on. It's essential.
Even G-Cox got that.
Well, maybe they shouldn't. Anyway,
it's fine.
Ultraman.
Ultraman. Yeah, I like the big brother dressed as 80 and being like, oh, nice costume to the kaiju kid. It's just like a good variety of reactions to the appearance of a kaiju, like a small kaiju.
They make their own Ultraman episode.
Yeah, that was fun.
They do.
They get mad at him because he's like, I want to be the hero. Well, no, you're the kaiju. Ultraman's obviously the hero, stupid.
Yeah. You can't win. You have to lose.
It cuts to the one kid, and he's dressed like a tiny little like film man, and he's like, "Oh, I'll have to rework the script."
Yes, he's got the cap and the in the seat and the glasses and everything. Oh, it's so good. I don't know where this particular image in Japan for what a director should look like came from, but it's universal.
I mean, I think it just came from Hollywood.
But it's like a very specific. It's the beret. It's the specific combination of things. It's because like what's her face, Usurper in Golden Kamui when she directs that silent movie, she dresses like this.
Yes.
The one Hoshimachi Suisei song that literally everyone in the world has heard. The music video for that, the director looks like that. In the it's just it's a universal image.
Where did that come from? Director, outfit, origin.
Yeah. There was a moment in this episode where I was like, UGM showed up and just kind of knew what the deal was with this kid. They were just like, oh, hey, yeah, you're the kid that turned into a kaiju, aren't you? And I'm like, we skipped a lot here. I guess that bit didn't matter.
You just get to the good part.
I like this kid.
Yeah.
He's good. Yeah. I'm not necessarily like huge into the episode, but it's all right.
I have an explanation. Apparently, it is a combination of being associated with French cinema and the beatnik counterculture movement of the 50s. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
I feel like I should have been introduced to the term beatnik prior to like 2 months ago. But that's not true.
Crazy.
I mean, I feel like I've definitely talked about beat stuff on the podcast before, because occasionally I dabble with it. Or at least
I may have just not heard the term when you said it. I usually
say beat because that's what a lot of people call the broader movement and not the
but I also just probably
term.
don't internalize beat in that context. I'm just like, he's just saying a word. And I just forget about it.
Yeah. What a fascinating cultural moment that immediately kind of shit itself and then decided that the people that came after them sucked and those guys.
Well, speaking of word, no, never mind. This is something. This is something for outside the podcast. It doesn't matter. Who made this episode?
This was directed by Noriaki Yuasa and then written by Yasushi Hirano.
Okay, Mel.
Special effects director Koichi Takano, Tetsuan, voice actor is Kazue Takahashi, voice of Busuka, and suit actor Tetsuo Yamura, and they named the kaiju after him for some reason.
I see.
Apparently, Hirano, in the original draft, he says, this is originally going to be like a body horror type story, whereas turning into kaiju is more horrible. But then as time went on, and maybe because they're also in the children arc, it kind of just became a Kanekon type story instead.
I see. That's a really funny transition.
That's pretty good. The same writer-director duo I'm finding also did our favorite Time Tunnel Warriors episode.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The Ultraman Wiki also gave me Hirano's own views of good versus evil.
Let's go.
Okay. What are his views?
This is just me copy pasting. Okay. Hirano stated that Ultraman is not merely about fighting, but about expressing drama through action. However, he believes that heroes should not be.
Go on.
True.
Yeah,
it's not true at all.
Heroes should not be brooding or overly troubled. Fundamentally, Ultraman should not be deeply conflicted. That's why the logic of evil must be clearly defined. If the antagonist
he is correct about that. Ultraman is rarely morally conflicted.
If the antagonist motives are too justifiable, it can cause the hero to waver. But if the opponent is someone utterly incomprehensible or irreconcilable, then the only option is to drive them away or defeat them. This kind of clear moral divide and satisfying action is, in his view, the ideal tone for Ultraman actions.
Man, this guy might be a loser.
I don't like this man. Get him out of here.
Get him out of this.
This
guy
episode,
thinks the Marucci episode sucks.
What is the drama through the action ever? Like, there are times where he fights them and it's clearly sad. Like the Marucci episode. Yeah, actually, the episodes that do this the best are the ones he hates.
Yes. The drama in the action is often when Ultraman doesn't really want to kill this kaiju. Because it doesn't deserve it.
No, you see, when Ultraman brutally murders a kaiju and then shows tenderness by piling up pieces of its corpse on top of it. That shows
Ultraman. What in the episode count? My home, the Earth, Ultraman. Within 23 episodes of Ultraman starting, Ultraman has invented its own sharpest criticism forever. Which is very, very unfortunate.
Subarashiki loves to uphold the Jamal episode as like one of the franchise's crowning achievements, while also not taking any of its messages to heart.
Never learning.
Hey, why is it a crowning achievement? Oh, well, it's the themes, the messages. Yeah. Well, are you going to take those messages into the other episodes of the show you're going to make for 50 years after? Well, no.
Absolutely not. Are you joking? If we did that, now here's the thing. If they did that, we wouldn't have the opportunity for great episodes like the Jamal episode, would we?
Yeah. See, that's what makes it special. It's like most Ultraman has to be evil, so the good criticism episodes are truly valuable.
Exactly. What else is there to say about this episode?
It is kind of funny. He just causes problems for everyone.
I put a lot of weight. It's a very fast moment in the episode, but when he's going through his "oh no, being a monster sucks" actually phase, there's a part where he walks into a shop like, "Hey man, I'm hungry. Can I get something?" And the dude just immediately goes, "Ah, a monster," and runs into the back, forcing him to steal if he wants to eat.
Mm-hmm. And he immediately brings a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the the other,
however, it's worth noting that in the morality of the show, this is presented as well, like a sympathetic but a wrong thing he did that he doesn't have to apologize for.
Yep.
He just has to learn. He has to learn to not be a kaiju.
I don't know why, but every time I looked at this suit, I kept thinking, like, this feels like something that belongs at, like, a kid's restaurant. As, like, a funny little, like... Like, it feels like if the Chuck E. Cheese group added an alien, this would be what it looks like. I kept thinking that.
You could have this as one of the Chuck E. Cheese guys at the Super Rad Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. He's got these big old whiskers that are very prominent.
I like the bulging eyes.
I have immediately conjured up the concept of an Ultra Q episode, which is basically just Five Nights at Freddy's, but they're Ultra Kaiju animatronics.
You ever see the Nick Cage movie that's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, but Nick Cage is there?
No.
Me and my friends watched it last Halloween. It was pretty funny.
Is this different from the actual Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
Yes. It's called Willy's Wonderland. I just found it again.
Okay, I'm looking up Willy's Not Wonderland.
Uh,
This really is what if Nicolas Cage was at Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
This is not an exaggeration. I'm looking at this.
Who stars in the Five Nights at Freddy's? Who the fuck is Josh Hutcherson?
That's a name I feel like I've heard.
Oh, he's a Hunger Games guy. Okay, of course. Oh, he was a voice actor in the, in the Netflix Ultraman anime.
There you go.
There we go.
We will not be listening to that dub, presumably.
No.
That one's a
that
weird
one. I thought you meant the thing that came out that we did watch.
Oh. No, not right.
Wait, what were you talking about?
The
Ultraman
Netflix anime that's like the one with the power
adaptation of the manga.
It's a manga adaptation.
I have a model kit of something from that I have yet to build.
Is this the guys that did the Blame movie?
The studio? I'm not sure.
Yeah. It looks a bit like that. Anyway.
Yeah. That anime is from the fucking 2019. We won't be watching it for a long time, so...
Oh, it is apparently Production IG. Never mind. It looked 3D to me for a second.
It might be CG in it.
Yeah. I suppose Production IG are one of the old school, like classic users of CG in anime.
Ghost in the Shell 2.0, baby.
I haven't seen that. I was thinking of Innocence.
You shouldn't.
I was thinking of the incredible PlayStation 2 cutscene.
See, I like it in Innocence because it feels weird and otherworldly. When I watch it in, what if we took out some of the shit from Ghost in the Shell and redid it in CG? I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, George Lucas.
As an aside, I am annoyed that like the Plamo figures that they seem to mostly be making of Ultraman are like the suits from the anime and not like actual Ultraman.
Yeah.
Including ones that aren't even in the anime but are like alt spin-off stuff because they want to make suits of every like Ultra. So it's like, here's a fucking Zero suit. I'm like, that doesn't show up in the
feel
manga.
like I can justify this from the like model kit head perspective of I think those designs lend themselves more to a model kit.
I know that's the reason why, but still does bother me. You know,
because if I wanted an Ultra 7, my mind would not go to I should get a model kit. I would just go I'd get a figure, right? Because it's
but the thing is, I don't care about figures, but I do care about model kits.
Damn.
So
you're on the wrong podcast.
I know. I have two VTuber friends as co-hosts.
Oh yeah, Mokoko's watching The Thing, I think, this week.
Yeah, she is.
I'm not a member, so I'm not going to see that shit. But
I watched Cecilia absolutely fumble an encounter in The Evil Within earlier today.
Nice.
It was very funny. it was Gigi's birthday stuff yesterday or something. I was very asleep. Well, do we want to talk about episode 40?
Yeah.
Sure.
The Sumo Boy from the Mountains, featuring Jihibikirun? There we go. A spirit of the mountain called Sumo Boy wants to wrestle everyone in the city. How did this happen? Through a bizarre series of events, Sora and his sumo group... when Sora showed up and revealed he was in the sumo group, I was like, hell yeah. Sora and his sumo group accidentally woke up Sumo Boy, who owns everyone at sumo. Two thieves who were robbing the sumo guys anyway decided to take this kid to town and make some money off him beating everyone at sumo, because everyone will underestimate him. He has to have 100 matches before he's satisfied and will return to the mountain. But if he gets upset, he'll turn into the giant sumo kaiju Jihibikirun. UGM decide the danger of him causing damage in the city is too great, and so they try and fail to catch him. With only one more bout left in him, the thieves are determined to make as much money as possible, and they trick Sumo Boy into robbing a mansion. Unfortunately, he gets zapped by the electric fence and transforms into the giant kaiju, Jihibikirun. Takeshi turns into 80 and challenges Jihibikirun to a sumo match. After wrecking some buildings, 80 wins, and the kaiju turns back into Sumo Boy. Sumo Boy returns to the mountains with a bento. The end. I forgot to write the end at the end of the summary. I usually do.
I appreciate how, like, this would otherwise be kind of a non-issue were it not for the fact that these two assholes want to profit off of this.
Oh, yeah.
I like how they pull on Takeshi the old Gen training move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I like the fact that this is a guy for a different time and place. That he's like that it's the world of spirits clashing with the world of modern Japan, industrialized Japan, and it's like the sheer concentration of people in the city clashes with this whole thing was, wow, he's the sumo spirit, and then he just fights 100 people and he goes back to sleep. Yeah, I think that's a good like little underlying theme in the episode. I mostly, you know what, maybe these 3 episodes are good. I watched them like at work. I mostly with this episode, I mostly was just like laughing at like the UGM guys show up to come tackle Sumo Boy, and Ito is like commanding the other guys, yeah, go get him. And he's like cowering away from Sumo Boy. It's just,
I like that Sarah's a sumo guy. Like,
Sarah being a sumo guy is great.
Yeah.
It's perfect for him. It just immediately reframe, because like his whole deal is just like, oh, he's funny fat guy, right?
Yeah.
Him being into sumo is like immediately like just reframes this in such a more sympathetic, just like recognizing him as like a human being in a way.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, okay, instead of just a punchline.
You know, it is a good punchline, is this kid just being a menace to everyone he encounters, including that one guy that's like, oh, that first round doesn't count, I tripped. Oh, okay, no, you're actually really good.
He just owns people. And
I think we've had like,
sick of feeding him.
Actually, probably unsurprising that this would happen in a Japanese media property, but we've definitely had a fair amount of like Ultraman does a sumo fight. Fights. Mm-hmm. But it's fun to like add an actual like sumo one.
Me and my friends have been dabbling in sumo just because they've gotten really good about just like putting like you know tournaments on YouTube.
Right, watching.
Well, yes,
you said dabbling in sumo, and I was like, I really have to clarify.
Yes, watching sumo. But like they're just really good at putting the tournaments on YouTube, and like they've gone a ways in making it more accessible. Like they have like, you know, the English commentators and everything too. Like it's cool.
I don't know a lot about sumo, but I do know that, like, for whatever reason, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, women can't do it.
Is there just no women sumo?
Yeah. But there is a King of Fighters character who is, like, a small girl who does sumo as her move, and I'm like, that's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, it's bad when I look up women sumo and there's a Wikipedia article and the picture is a painting. This shit is not happening. Damn.
Isn't it also like? I feel like that's probably. I feel like it's probably different now because of maybe anime is giving a distortion to this. But I also feel like Rakugo was also one of those things, and Kabuki were like things like, oh, only men can do this.
So there were. This is like. I don't know what the deal is with. Can women do? Oh no, because there's a women can do Rakugo. I think I assumed Akane Banashi wouldn't exist if there was not already a tendency for some women to do Rakugo at this point. It is a plot element of Akane Banashi that in the past, it like there is a woman who is like one of like the big famous Rakugo people, like performers that Akane like learns from, like learns a story from, and her whole deal is that she's the only woman in like this whole lineup of these like these crazy like legends of Rakugo, and she's the only woman because like she was the only woman who could act like. There's like this idea that she's like this incredibly like cold and difficult person to work with and like incredibly stubborn, and it's like the idea is that she learnt that by having to get through the sexism of like getting into Rakugo. I'm looking at the fucking
Rakugo's the comedy one, right?
Rakugo is, well, it's either comedy or tragedy, or but mostly comedy.
Okay,
it's like
that's what I
it's
like
like
Shakespeare.
A guy sits on like Shakespeare. Someone sits on kneels and just does a one person like tells a story.
Yeah. I'm going to rely on. Well, maybe you won't actually check, but I want to rely on your feedback to see if the anime of Akane Banashi is worth watching, just because I know you've actually read it.
Akane Banashi. I mean, the manga's really good.
Oh, I just meant like, will they actually? I see. Just the differences between manga and anime.
I'll probably watch that anime, okay. But I think the manga's so good because
I know you shared panels before, so
it's just good faces. It's just very good faces.
Also, here's the sumo girl from King of Fighters. That's
her. I don't think I've seen her. I don't think I realized she did sumo stuff.
Yeah.
This is not the character design I would have expected.
Well, Yeah. But also, to some degree, there is humor in the contrast between her design and what a typical sumo wrestler who is a guy.
Yeah.
But yes, it does seem like, at least according to Wikipedia, female sumo is prohibited from taking place in professional settings, but exists on amateur levels.
That fucking sucks. Anyway.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, it is what it is. This episode. Who made this episode?
This episode was made by... Oh no, the binding of my book is starting to fall apart. This episode was made by Noriaki Yuasa, and then written... Oh yeah, that's right. So this one was written by Madasaburo Mizusawa, who I looked up, and I am pretty well convinced is a pseudonym, because I believe this is the only episode of anything he's ever done. But then when I tried to look deeper at who this could be a pen name for, I couldn't find shit. So...
Okay, well...
Yeah.
F. It happens. Mel.
He hated this episode. That's why he didn't want to.
He hated it. He was
special director Koichi Takano, suit actor Tomohiro Sato.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, this episode written by Alan Smithy.
I feel like the pen names have been harder to like find.
Oh, sorry. Alan Smith. It's like out of use now, but back in the day, it was a go-to pseudonym for when you had to like apply to use it. You had to justify why you wanted to use it, for when a director felt like that they didn't actually have full control over the movie and they weren't proud of the product, and they could get that name in the credits.
I think there was a one for screenwriting too, wasn't there? Or maybe
probably, but I'm not familiar. Anyway, yeah, I quite like this episode. What else is that to say about it?
I think part of it is I watched all these episodes in one sitting, so that's probably why I am like, oh yeah, these are good episodes. After you talk about them.
Yeah. This is kind of the same thing for me, as I watched all these on Monday, and I'm like, I'm rediscovering them.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, oh dang, like I feel like this of normally, historically speaking, doing this podcast, when we get like, a new kid every week doing a thing, I've always been like, oh, this is a lot of the times I feel like when Ultraman's at its worst, and I feel like this show has done a good job of actually blending in the Ultraman stuff with the drama, and I mean, like, even we've talked about before, like, the central premise of 80 about monsters and how they tie with emotions, I feel like has given them maybe the framing they needed to be a little bit more interesting and maybe have a little bit more fun, even, like, with this episode.
Also,
what a weekly child could be.
By direct comparison, the parts of the show where there wasn't a child in focus on the episode were the worst episodes of the show.
Yeah.
As of this episode, we have a new opening.
I'd like to pretend I didn't.
It's he has no longer come to us from a star. Oh well.
It feels like did they make this new OP to like fit the new title sequence, but the song wasn't ready in time?
Maybe yeah. It's entirely possible. I quite like all the shots of Takeshi just wandering around among the flowers.
And then running.
I'm like, what is going? This is a completely different show than the one that you've actually made, but I would like to watch this show. It seems alright.
I raising my hand, Google has decided to let me know that when I looked up Matasaburo Mizuzawa, it also says people also search for Yoshitaka Amano and Yukio Mishima. Now, like, I don't think that's true.
I don't think Yukio Mishima has written an episode of Ultraman. Well,
he would fit right in.
Man.
Speaking of Japanese fascism.
We're so good at podcast. Episode 41 is called "Don't You Want to See the Zero Fighter Bird Monster?"
No, I really don't.
Featuring Ballet Badon.
Hey Brad, do you have opinions about the end of Godzilla -1?
A kid called Saito lost his remote control Zero Fighter. How did this happen? Well, he entered a competition with the RC plane he'd been saving up for 18 months, and mid-competition he lost control of it, and it flew away. He blames UGM because Takeshi wanted to touch the plane when he saw it yesterday. His father is reluctant to go looking for the missing plane, but Saito's mother, who I recognize, convinces him by basically threatening to break his golf clubs if he doesn't go. Instead of the plane, father and son find a biplane dragon kaiju that Saito seems to be able to direct via his RC controller, as though his Zero became a kaiju. He goes flying he goes riding on this flying kaiju. Excuse me. But Takeshi is here, and he sees that actually it's just that the kaiju has swallowed Saito's RC plane. During a loop, the Zero is dislodged from the kaiju's throat, and now Saito is stuck on a flying kaiju. Takeshi turns into 80 and saves him, and the kaiju flies away. Saito has retrieved his Zero, but he also says he's learned his lesson. Don't put so much stock into material possessions. His father admits to caring about his golf clubs too much. Still, nice to have the plane back. The end.
Takeshi, when I ask him what his ultra eyes see.
Okay. Shut up. This is the internet classic, taking the hobbits to Isengard. Let me have a look at how many views this has these days.
I saw this video.
Millions. It has to be millions.
Only 42 million.
This is probably to re-upload is the thing. Unless, how old is this one? 19 years.
Let's
19
go.
But also, was it originally posted on YouTube or was it posted on other sites?
Oh, that's a good. It says here, not my work. So I expect it was posted
that might
somewhere
be.
else.
Is that a "You're the Man Now" dog thing?
Because this it's definitely like I think it's like YouTube's 2006, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I saw this in 2003, so it definitely predates YouTube. So
yeah.
It first appeared as a Flash animation on the website Albino Black Sheep.
Okay. Because this episode.
Hiroko Sakurai's in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, the person who made the video died of lung cancer in 2022. That's sad.
Oh, Jesus.
Rest in peace. Only age 52. Damn.
So many internet deaths, like the Burger King footless guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I like Hiroko Sakurai in this episode.
She's great as this extremely like frustrated wife. She's just like my
she
son.
feels like the archetypal I have two sons reference to her.
Yes, absolutely.
but also
not in like a, I find this kind of funny. I'm like engaging in the it's it's that's just how it is. She's like genuinely just like, this is fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the kid has like
with you too.
Not gonna blame a kid for having special interests. I wish he had less reactionary ones. But it is kind of wild just seeing his room being nothing but zeros, and his mom's just like, oh, come on.
Yeah. I think they say this is a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he like basically like set up like a prop to role play. Like
flying
this kid, if he had the money, would have a flight simulator in his room.
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah.
But also, his dad extremely sucks in that he just does not he also does not want to deal with the child because he wants to play golf.
Yes.
And he's like, oh man, I lost my plane. And dad's like, well, accidents happen. And then mom's like, well, if you don't help him, I'm gonna break your clubs. And he's like, well, son, we gotta go find. And then he's embarrassed by his own child.
It's so right. Here's the thing. The degree to which the general public laugh at this small child is ridiculous.
It's like, really like ridiculous. Now, all of the people on the streets.
Not saying they wouldn't have this reaction internally, but most people just have like the decorum of like the public spheres. Most people just like look awkwardly and move on.
We should clarify. So the kid goes out in public with basically like a sign, and
basically like a wanted poster, except as a billboard around his neck, kind of.
Yeah, and then like also a sign, like a sign that he's carrying with like attached to a stick.
Yeah, like a Gundam Seed protest sign.
Of like, have you seen my remote control plane? And he does look ridiculous, but then like literally it's just him walking down a city street, and then all of the adults passing by are basically pointing and laughing at this child who clearly is upset he lost his expensive toy.
And then his father is putting on like a mask and like sunglasses, so he's not like
associated,
with his own child.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It is really funny. This is so completely detached from reality. This is like pure like I don't know. This is some kind of like
in this essay, I will describe the
exaggeration of how it feels.
Ultraman 80.
What was that? Sorry.
In this essay, I'll describe the fantastic realism of Ultraman 80.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's this like really absurd moment, just kind of exaggerating the embarrassment of it all. And then oh yeah.
I was gonna say, I do feel like this is maybe the weakest of the three in that I think this could have been stronger in a few different ways. I don't know how I feel. Like, I think that the episode kind of soils its own message by giving the kid the plane back at the end, and it's perfectly fine, and he's like...
I think it's a great ending.
I
think it's such a... I don't... Like, it's this incredible moment of, like, yeah, it's important to know that, like, you know, material... things go away. Things end. Your material possessions won't be around forever. Also, it was really expensive, so it is pretty nice to have it back. And there's just such like a calm practicality to it that I found quite endearing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Even as it's like, as it kind of it. You are right. It does kind of thwart the sort of like the moral for children of it all.
Yeah, I also
it is funny,
just
he's
think...
just like, I hate you, GM. You stole my plane by, like, witnessing it.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that's true, Saito.
See,
it's because you saw my plane before the competition. It went crazy.
So that's the other thing, too, that kind of feeds in. I think... So sometimes we get this in Ultraman, and I like it quite a lot, where a otherwise normal event in life ends up intersecting with the fact that this is a world where there are weird space animals and, like, weird monster spirits roaming about, and, like, those end up intersecting and causing a problem in ways that no one could really predict, and it kind of speaks to, like, a larger, like, thing about the human condition. I feel like the fact that the remote control plane just happens to go off into, oh, this is the valley where sometimes space birds like to chill out and rest a little bit before they continue their journey. I think I would have liked it more if somehow, like, I think there's a lot of, even the design of this thing, I can't help but feel like maybe the plane should have became the monster more so than this is a bird that eats it.
I was just about to say, how would you feel about the idea that instead of it being stuck inside the kaiju, the Zero had literally become like a biplane dragon kaiju?
Well, that's because I thought that's where we were going, and then they meet the guy, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's a way to put this, but because the kid, the entire episode, you can tell he's kind of spiraling. Sorry for the pun.
It would work because of Ultraman 80's whole thing about emotions creating kaiju.
Exactly, and then it's just like, nope, this giant bird ate it, and that for some reason remote controls have now infected its body and now responds to a tiny remote control device.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could get someone to swallow a small RC car, that's it. They're your puppet now.
This is getting too close to, like, I wish I had a mute button for my wife type of guy.
Yeah, because she's gonna break my golf clubs over here.
Yeah. He goes home, he's got an idea.
Oh no!
The old ball and chain, am I right, fellas?
Yeah, am I right, fellas?
There is the bit. I'm already forgetting the heroine's name for UGM.
Jono?
Jono, yeah. Where she's like, well, it's even worse for girls because our hobby is clothing, and if you wear the same thing twice, you get made fun of.
Yeah, there is a weird kind of...
There's a moment where like, it's like, oh yeah, men can like wear the same outfit every day, but women can't.
yeah, there is a weird kind of consciousness, the treatment of women in this episode.
So it's weird because it is kind of, so it's that, but then also the way that conversation between the adults goes from discussing hobbies to talking clothes also almost makes it sound like they're saying, oh yeah, women's favorite hobby, clothing, which I was kind of like, okay.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they be shopping.
What else do I have here?
How are you feeling about the monster design?
I like the biplane dragon.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah. It's a cool puppet.
A Zero is not a biplane.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway. Biplanes are cool. Good Miyazaki voice. What else was I going to say? I had something. What did I have? Oh yeah, there's a whole like build up in this episode to him actually getting the plane, where it's just this kid like scrounging.
Everyone
money.
made fun of me because I wanted to save money for an expensive toy, which is a thing no kid has ever wanted in their life.
This is like the villain origin story you'd get on an episode of Shark Tank or something.
Listen,
Okay.
everyone in Shark Tank's a villain.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
AKA Dragon's Den for the other.
Yeah, I get,
Yeah.
I knew that one.
Fred and I.
This episode was made by Shoei Tojo and then written by Toshiro Ishido, which I think makes sense.
Yeah, I think I saw it briefly on the wiki and I wasn't sure if I wanted to mention it. It's just like, oh yeah, Toshiro Ishido liked to remote control planes, and so he's like, oh, I'm gonna write an episode about that.
Okay. Fair play.
When he was a kid, I think, presumably.
I think I'm kind of surprised I never became a plane child, because I think I had all the ingredients to be one, but I just never cared. Even like I had
Never learned the
relatives with like
recipe.
remote. I had like relatives with the remote control plane stuff, and I just never cared about it. But like,
I was never a plane
considering-
person, despite somehow getting a glider pilot's license for a hot minute.
That's funny.
Okay.
I always think, like, there's such a weird intersection between people who are way too deep into mecha and people who are way too deep into planes that, like, I'm just kind of surprised that, like, I never really was, like,
I wonder who the boat mecha people are.
Oh, I bet those people are fucking living their best life. Probably not. I feel like they're probably very underserved. But, you know.
What, which
Man,
people
we
are this?
need
Boat people?
Battle Spaceship Yamato, and only that.
Wait, no, they're playing that one game I had to stop playing that I forget the name of.
Cancol.
Fuck. No.
Kantai Collection.
No.
Azure Lane.
Azure Lane, yeah.
Every once in a
I went too
while,
old
a
school.
new animation from the game itself, Azure Lane, will show up, and I'm like, that's crazy. How'd they get away with that?
Yeah.
I do think it's funny. I just remembered the first episode, it kind of just ends with a dumb stinger where they're just Takeshi and Jono are sitting watching the baseball, and they go, maybe you'll become an alien, and it does a dumb freeze frame.
It's really good. Yeah. Oh, Mel.
Such a picture is Kazuo Sagawa.
Nice. Sick. Is there anything else we want to say about this episode?
I think it's the weakest of the bunch. I still quite like it. I wish it wasn't the Zero.
I mean, this is like the I'm not saying like they're go out and buy Zero fighters, but I think this is an inevitability for the time.
Yeah, no, for
I think
sure,
this
for
is,
sure.
There's just a
Inventing the Canadian version of the episode where it's like the kid does like an Avro arrow, and then I was like, oh man, Canada could have been something.
I mean, I mean, when someone buys and builds a model Spitfire, they're not just buying and building a plane that fought in World War II. That is also like, it wasn't Britain that fought in World War II. It was the Britain and the British Empire.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's a
Yeah.
We simply just have to get the Soviet planes, and that's it'll be acceptable.
This is how it goes. This is how it goes.
I just remembered the story of, like, there was a Soviet woman whose, like, husband died fighting the Nazis, and she was like, she asked Stalin to give her a tank so she can go get revenge on him, and she got her wish, and so she named her tank Fighting Girlfriend and went and fought the Nazis in a tank.
It's pretty cool. There was that whole women's
Bomber Squadron.
Yeah, fighter squadron.
There's a Sabaton song about that.
Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. Every time you tell me there's a Sabaton song about something, my reaction is increasingly, of course they're fucking it. That makes perfect sense.
Not every, but like recently, someone linked me an article that broke down the cost of shooting down that Chinese balloon that everyone was extremely not normal about. Yeah, Balloonga. I still love that. Was maybe the funniest overlap we've ever had between real life and an Ultraman watch session. But yeah, okay, I found the article. $358 million fighter jet used firing a $440,000 Sidewinder missile. This is
the intended use of the product. This is the whole point is they're expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and meanwhile, you get, like, the US blowing billions of dollars trying to fight Yemen, who is dissuading the US Navy with, like, double to triple digit drones.
There's this second episode of the Skrillex Urabuchi collaboration Obsolete. In the second episode, these Marines are hanging around in like an M1 Abrams tank, and one of them is like a true believer in, like, you know, America's duty to the world, and the other one is like, you know, the reason we drive these around, right, is because they guzzle gas and they're really expensive to maintain. If they weren't expensive, we wouldn't be using them. The whole point is that, you know, war, when we go to war, it makes someone back home a lot of fucking money. Wow. Which is why when there was a whole to-do about the fact that the American Air Force was clearly going with, like, the least efficient, like the worst possible option for their new fighter jet, and everyone was like, but it's useless and it breaks all the time and it's so expensive, and I was like, you're listing reasons why they're doing it.
The problem is when they actually have to fight a war with them.
Well, yes,
as we are finding in the current years.
Yeah, we might be done talking about Ultraman.
Probably.
For now, in which
I think
case,
we've been done
Mel,
for a minute.
Do you have timers?
Yeah. Episode 39, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Episode 40, 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Episode 41, 48 seconds? That was pretty short.
That was quick. It was a little dogfight. It was a chase. We didn't mention that, but yeah, the Ultraman has a little dogfight with the biplane dragon.
It's like barely. It's so brief.
It's very brief. It's because it's just the little model, so it doesn't look good. So they're like, we'll keep it off screen for as long as possible.
I was about to say, I feel like they've gotten more conscious of the fact that when it's the stiff Ultraman model flying around,
it just looks fucking bad.
It doesn't look great. Like, time has moved on for Ultraman effects in many ways, but I feel like that's one that they're like, we don't really have a good alternative, so we're just not going to do it as much.
It is weird we got 2 episodes in 80 where Ultraman goes inside someone to fight the kaiju.
It has happened twice now.
I mean, I do think it's cool when they get to do the fun little like weird meat walls. So
yeah, he can go small enough to go inside a person.
Yeah,
but he can't get small enough to just be a regular person sized. He can only do Ultraman big or teeny tiny small. He can't do anywhere in between.
How would you feel if Ultraman was just like, I'm going to be 3 feet tall today? Just like that uncomfortable zone. Yeah, now you're thinking about it. It looks weird,
I'm thinking about the 3 foot tall Ultraman.
with like adult man proportions, but he's just 3 feet tall.
Why is Ultraman a hobbit?
I can beat the kaiju like this, and he just walks on.
Yeah. Oh man.
Actually, I think you'll find the correct term's a halfling.
That's right. I don't want to get sued by Tolkien's son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Amazon. I don't know who owns it these days. Well, we are going to move on and talk about anything else right after this break. Welcome back. We're going to talk about anything else. I am going to start because I've got precisely one thing.
Nice.
I finished Koudelka this morning.
How did you like it?
That's a really good video game. I really like Koudelka. It's just being a JRPG that takes place in like the one dungeon is great. The vibes are perfect. The atmosphere, just the mocap cutscenes are crazy. It's like a 12-hour game with 4 discs. It's mental. Very big fan. I like those characters because they all they hate each other for most of the game, right?
That's fun.
And the priest is the priest shows up and is talking about like it's like revealed that maybe like someone in this monastery is like killing people, and he says, well, yes, but the people who come here are thieves, barely human anyway. He's been sent here by the Vatican to find something. It's he's like on his shit at all times.
William Basketball, he is not.
No, he isn't. And there's a guy who's named after a real guy, but I can't tell if they're trying to say that is that guy.
I think the Shadow Heart games are like a sequel to Koudelka, and I think they have actual just real people in the games as characters. So it might be.
Yeah,
like Edward. But like he does the real guy, the biography does not line up necessarily with where this character is, but I think he might just be that guy. He might be the real Edward Plunkett.
You mean like how Hijikata's biography doesn't line up with Golden Camel?
Well, listen. that's
go ahead.
It's different.
My buddy Fang is a big Koudelka / Shadow Hearts person, and really, I think the first 2 Shadow Hearts games in particular really likes.
I looked up. I was like, I want to know what the deal is with Shadow Hearts, and I looked up Shadow Hearts and found out that it's set like I thought Shadow Hearts was kind of like a spiritual successor to Koudelka, and then I heard like, oh yeah, like this ending of Koudelka is canonical within the Shadow Hearts games, and I was like, oh, Shadow Hearts takes place like in I had to look it up, and it's like, oh, this Shadow Hearts, the first game, takes place in the events in the run up to World War One.
She shows up, I think, in some of those games.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna play those games. This game was great. I think the combat is kind of slow and clunky, but that is is what it is. I think I actually like the combat, but because it's kind of it's kind of tricky to. I feel like the challenge of the combat is figuring out how it works. There's a lot of I don't. There's a certain level of there's one optional boss in the game who's really fucking hard, and fighting that boss was great. I had a great time. Beat that guy, and it's just you're free to it's not like a Final Fantasy. It's you get to level up your characters yourself. You get 4 points to assign into the stats.
SMT brain.
It's you've got strength, vitality, dexterity, agility, and then you've got intelligence, piety, mind, and luck. I still don't know what luck does, but it's apparently useful. I don't know.
That's just kind of how luck is as a stat. Often.
Yeah, it's just how it is. But the piety is once I figured out that piety and vitality weren't just they up your hit points and your MP. They also determine they also give you better defense for versus magic and versus physical stuff. And then I realized that there's these spells called the fortify spells, which is fortify all each of your for each of the stats. And I figured out that I accidentally cast one on a bad guy once, and I was I fucked it up, and then it debuffed them, and I was oh, I've got straight. I can I can drain enemy stats with spells, and so I had a great time. The really hard gargoyle boss, I had leveled up Koudelka and the priest James's fortify agility to level 3 each, and so in a single round I sapped 18 of this boss's agility, and then I hit him again in another round and again in another round, and I was okay, I've now got some space to actually do some stuff in this fight, because it determines how many turns, how often you get to act. It's just I think it's a cool, fairly straightforward, but a cool system for a game that's only 12 hours long or something.
I was gonna ask how long it is.
Very, very short. Very short. I did it in 14 hours, which on how long to beat is it says, oh, that's a completionist run. And I did do everything. For me it was a week because I've been fucking busy. Yeah. But there were a couple of times in the game where I was I'm just fucking lost because I don't have an item that I think the game assumed I would have picked up earlier. But otherwise, I think it's just a very, very good game, and I think I would not describe this game as a survival horror game, which is what I have heard people say. Oh, it's a survival horror JRPG. I don't know where the survival horror
is
in it.
Do you think it's the camera angle?
They say that because it's the camera angle, because it's it's kind of ish a sort of turn-based Resident Evil, but truly there is barely any resource management in this game at all. I'm just my inventory was frequently filling up with shit, and I had to throw stuff away.
Survival horror is the type of horror they know, and therefore anything that's horror is survival horror.
Yeah, I guess survival horror being just this go-to it's a video game, it looks a bit Resident Evil-y, and it's a horror game, therefore it's survival horror. Yeah. Not quite understanding that survival horror is a specific a genre specific to video games that has specific ideas behind it.
Yeah,
it's gotta feel like a point and click adventure game with baddies and limited healing.
There is you simply have a heal spell, and Hey, you know what's a great way of healing in this game? Fighting enough that you level up quite frequently. It's that easy to survive. It's not a fucking problem. Like, frequently I was just like, I don't need any of these healing items. I barely need my healing spells. I'm just leveling up fast enough that it fills my hit points every time.
So what this says to me is this is truly a dungeon crawler.
Yeah. I mean, it's I had a great time though. This is like, it's like gothic horror. And I think if I had to take my pick between Parasite Eve and this, I would take this over Parasite Eve because I think Parasite while Parasite Eve is cool, I was not really impressed. Like the combat is cool, but like I just think the whole, once I understood how the upgrade system works, I was like, oh, this is just fucking stupid. I just have to take one gun and upgrade it all the time and then transfer those upgrades to my next gun. And I just don't have to think. And like, there's barely any benefit to having a gun that that can fire like more than one shot at a time because it spreads out the damage. And I'm most often fighting like a couple of big things, and I can act often enough. And like, I know there's like, you can like, there's the whole action aspect of it where you're like evading attacks, but I liked Parasite Eve. I liked it a lot, but I think I just prefer Koudelka.
Damn, I gotta actually play this because, like I said, I watched a buddy play a few hours of this, and what damn, like I've always known of this game mostly because of how it's related to Shadow Hearts, and like fuck, this game seems cool as shit.
It is, it's really cool. Yeah, and it's like one of those classic like gothic horror stories about like it's one of those classic like stories about the sort of intersection of science and magic, but also like occult magic and then holy, the church.
That's the good shit.
It's good. And it's not about anyone trying to do Third Impact, so.
Yippee!
But it is about a classic, it is another stock bad guy plot, but it's not that one. Anyway, that's Koudelka. It's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who's up?
I want to feel out. Brad, how much stuff do you have?
Like, one thing that I feel like I can really talk about in depth, really, not too much.
My second thing is also, did Red also finish Tsui no Sora?
Oh, that's right, I'm stupid. I did finish Tsui no Sora.
Okay.
Shall I wait to talk about Tsui no Sora until you go?
Okay, yeah.
Or
Brad, go.
should we talk? Okay, Brad, go.
Okay,
Firing the starting gun.
So, the other day, because we were talking about, like, what movies do we want to watch in the friend group this October, one of my friends just out of nowhere is like, I've never seen Stalker and I really want to see Stalker. And I went, yeah, we should watch Stalker.
Yeah.
So I watched Stalker with people, having been the only person in that group that's seen it before. They all really liked it. It was interesting because normally, like, we're pretty open in that group about just talking when we're watching the thing and, like, cracking wise or just, like, hanging out, having a good time. And, like, I know some people can't stand that shit. I personally kind of like it. I like the communal aspect of it. Almost dead silent the entire movie, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah. Stalker in it.
Yeah. It was, outside of the friend who wanted to watch it being like, this is a movie about stepping on really gross surfaces and things crunching beneath your feet, which I thought was very funny.
Every time I see a puddle with like a layer of weird film on it, I keep thinking of this movie.
And you're like, oh boy, I sure hope I don't die of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
in 10 years. I re-listened, because after we watched it, I was like, well, we definitely talked about this. I re-listened to basically everything we had to say, like, whatever year and a half ago we talked about it, and I have, like, truly nothing to add other than, man, I want to fucking read Roadside Picnic again.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So I think I said even during that last thing, I think I preferred Stalker to Roadside Picnic. I do want to revisit it and see how I still feel about that. I mean, it's such a short fucking book. Like, I pulled it out of like where I have like a box with a bunch of books, and I was like, oh damn, this thing's way thinner than I remembered. So, might give that a read or attempt to.
I would feel like I want to rewatch Solaris and maybe Stalker. So he's been on my mind too.
It's it was a good October watch because I put it on and I did tell them, like, I don't really know if, like, it's kind of ominous and spooky. It's not really a horror movie. They're like, yeah, it's fine. And like, yeah, it's a good meditative piece.
Yeah.
I think it was fine enough for an October watch. We had a good time. They liked it. Had a pretty fun conversation about, like, okay, like, what's this trying to say? And, like, I just kind of stood back and listened. I was like, oh, here's some of, like, the common reads you'll find what people, like, say, that sort of stuff. But it was interesting hearing, like, what their personal takeaway was of, like, the ending and how they read all that stuff. And getting, like, sometimes it's just cool to have a bunch of people you really like experience the thing you're familiar with and just, like, get their raw, untouched, undisturbed reaction to it. It's cool. My one, funnily enough, I feel like my one takeaway, well, okay, I had two big takeaways. I always do this where I say I have one thing and I don't. I have a lot more. The first, holy shit, watching that movie since learning that, like, a bunch of them got cancer and died because they filmed it in a fucking rundown abandoned chemical plant. Makes some of those scenes really hard to watch. Because, like, it's just like, oh, that's gross water. Ugh, I wonder how they did that. And then it's like, oh, they didn't do that. They found that. I wouldn't have gone in there. Nasty. Second, we need more movies with a hyper-competent male lead who's also a massive big crybaby when he is even 1 inch outside of his expertise on anything.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good. He's so just...
I this is all I have, guys. I give people hope. What a movie.
I'd be curious what you and your friends think of Solaris, if you can manage to pitch them on it.
I asked if they wanted to, and I think the takeaway I got was they maybe want to sit with Stalker a little.
Yeah.
I think it was a very heavy meal for them that they want to sit on a bit before they jump in. But I do really want to watch Solaris.
I love Solaris. It's so cool.
Do you like it more than Stalker, do you think?
I might. I think about it more.
Yeah.
But also, some of that might just be like, oh, Weird Planet is kind of cool. Even though it's not the thing I think about.
That's fair.
Like, it's a cool... It's just cool.
It's like a proper like sci-fi shit.
Yeah. The other thing I did, I decided I needed another time waster project. Another friend told me this is a divorced dad project, and I was like, yeah.
Right, we will have to judge.
So I decided, instead of having to dig through folders to get to all my emulators and ROMs, what if I had a nice convenient front end where they were all in one nice place? So I took the plunge on setting up EmulationStation. And I'm in that process. So EmulationStation, like I said, is a front end that basically you set it up and you configure it so that it basically lists out all the possible systems you have emulators for, and then lists all your games, and it's kind of like a Netflix or a Plex or whatever you want to think of it as for all of your ROMs. I am deeply annoyed with basic, because I chose EmulationStation just because I did like a quick browse of like, okay, I'm just gonna mostly do this based off of aesthetics, really. Like, I don't care about all of the bells and whistles. But EmulationStation was the one that I was like, alright, I think this is the closest to kind of what I'm envisioning what I want. All of them that I found have this issue where you install the program and it goes, alright, we've set up an install directory. Here is your ROM, like, here are your ROM folders. Like, it's all this, like, different structure where it's, like, by brand and then by console, and, like, they all have these specific names, and it's like, just put your ROMs in here. me, as someone who has been collecting ROMs, that, like, I probably have ROMs on this hard drive that, like, have moved with me through, like, 5 or 6 computers and are probably 20 years old. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I
Who
have
doesn't?
my... Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I have... And, like, it's pretty close to what it is. It's just, like, named slightly differently. And, like, what I like to do, too... So, the big difference is that how they have it is it's like, oh, you have brand, then console, which is abbreviated to, like, a specific abbreviation, and then all of your games go inside that folder. I like to have one other layer of folder where I separate my real games... I don't want to say real games, that sounds bad, but, like, the officially produced games from, like, the unlicensed games that were made, and, like... ROM
Fake
hacks.
games,
Yeah, like I like to separate those 3 out into their own categories. I don't really like them all being in one big pool. Which I say, but like how it looks in the front end, it all becomes one big pool anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But point is, I wanted to keep those old folders because also sometimes too, like, if you want to dig into settings for an emulator or something, sometimes it's just nice to be able to launch it from the emulator and not, like, have to go through that front-end layer or whatever, right, to get where you want. So I'm like, I'm not putting all of these fucking, like, literally, like, 2 terabytes worth of games. I'm not reorganizing all that. And none of these front ends just have, like, an option in the menu, like, hey, change the ROM directory you're pulling from to this folder I want it to be. Like, you just can't do that within, like, the GUI. So I have to open up a notepad doc, like a .xml file, and then manually change the ROM pathing myself for every system, which is a fucking pain in the ass. And also, RetroArch didn't install properly, so I had to manually point the .exe and all of the launch options that it should be launching within the command line when it boots up. So it's taking some time, but it's slowly coming together. So it also does the thing where it pulls a description and, like, publisher info and, like, release dates and box art and all that stuff for each game, so it looks all pretty, like, in the menu. And also, when you hover over it, it'll play, like, a 30-second, like, attract mode clip. You have to scrape all of those using an automated scraper tool that they have. However, I guess the way I looked into it, apparently the API and, like, the owners of, like, GamesDB or the website or whatever, they reached an agreement where it's like, okay, per user, you can only do 10,000 API calls a day, which adds up quickly. So basically, for, like, the next week, I'm just gonna be going through, like, my different consoles that I have ROMs for and, like, scraping all that stuff until I hit my daily limit, until that's all done. But the one thing I squeaked with joy with was when I was in the middle of setting this up and I had some of the stuff, like, scraped. I went to the kitchen to make myself some tacos. And then I came back, and the attract mode... So, like, when you leave EmulationStation just on the main, like, choose your system menu, after, like, a few minutes, it'll go into an attract mode. And it literally just plays the attract mode, like, when you hover over a game, but for every single game that you have. And I was like, this is too cool. So I just watched, like, a shit ton of random 30-second clips of, like, DS and, like, PS2 games I'll probably never play. And I'm like, yeah, I've now seen 30 seconds of Princess debut. I don't even remember downloading this.
Nice.
And I'm like, damn, emulators are cool.
Yeah.
The last big thing I have, I attempted to no-life this. However, the person I am predominantly reading this with had to work 2 days in a row, which kind of foiled my plan to finish this before the podcast. I have finally gotten back to Muv-Luv Alternative after it kind of hit a slow part that friends have told me they also took a break because it's kind of a rough patch right after some very exciting moments in that game halfway through. Funny enough, maybe about 20 minutes after I started my save back up, the plot started to pick up again. And I was like, damn.
Nice.
That's funny.
Oh, that was convenient. Maybe I should have taken that break after all, but
It's the diamonds. You know, if you stop digging now.
Yeah. True. So, I have talked with my friends Julian and Jake who have read through Alternative before I have. Both of them seem kind of in agreement that the second half of Alternative is not as good as the first. Or at the very least, I should say, is more inconsistent. I'm still having a pretty good time now that things have picked back up. There's a few things I've been taking a look at some things online regarding this game, and I'm just kind of like, So one thing about Muv-Luv Alternative, without saying too much, is that early on there is an antagonist figure that is just like straight out, like the game calls him a nationalist, like that's what he is, and the way the main character views him is like, oh, this guy's an idiot, but he still kind of has some like sympathy for what he's trying to do, without saying too much more broadly about what that guy's trying to do. There's a lot of discussion online of how much of this is supposed to be read as, oh, fuck this guy, versus, oh, you know, maybe this guy isn't so bad, but he's taking things too far. Later on in the game, they start talking about Korea.
Oh no.
And I have... So, like, I've been reading this, and, like, there's a lot of talk about military action being taken in the Korean peninsula, which did get me digging and looking up some stuff, and I guess... Alternative somewhat, but, like, one of the spin-offs more so, is kind of like a hot button, like, media property thing in Korea because of a lot of this stuff. Specifically, like, there's, like, one of the big, like, alien nests is located somewhere on the Korean peninsula, so, like, there's a lot of talk of, like, oh, they could attack us through Korea, and a lot of, like, Korean mecha fans are like, well, if you look at the map, it feels like there's a lot closer places that nest could be for maybe launching an invasion, and it's kind of weird that they picked this spot.
I wonder what argument Japanese imperialists used. Dang, Korea's so close to China. Imagine if they...
The other thing that me and my friend did kind of, like, notice this, and then we read up more on, or I read more up on it, and it was like, oh, maybe there is actually something to dig into with this. Korean fans have also pointed out, like, you know, they really do, they sure really do like to just say the Soviet Union, the United States of America, China, Japan a lot. They sure do really like to just say the Korean peninsula, non-specific. And that maybe feels a little weird sometimes. Like they know that they're rubbing up against something that people are going to be mad about, so they use the geographic name instead of going too specific with the country, which has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Apparently a lot of this, like, tension and bad feeling comes more so from one of the spin-offs, which I do want to get to eventually, Total Eclipse, which I think goes a little bit more into that, and, like, the fact that this is, like, an alternate history with, like, Imperial Japan. It seems like maybe there's some... just happens to be posters of war criminals in the background. Yeah. Should be noted, Total Eclipse is written by a different person than the main Muv-Luv trilogy, but also, considering some of the statements made by main Muv-Luv trilogy guy, I am kind of like, you're on, I don't know about you. So yeah, that is a little disappointing. But beyond that, like, Muv-Luv Alternative, now that it's kind of in the thick of things, and it's, like, the end is in sight in a way that I'm still not entirely sure what the conclusion of this looks like. Like, I feel like there's a few different routes it could go, and again, I can't say too much, but a lot of major players that have been building up to, like, being more present in the plot are finally, like, in play, shall we say. And I'm curious to see how the entire like, once everything kind of is, like, you know, combined together into one spot where characters that have kind of been through disparate plot lines are all going to be interwoven, presumably very soon. I'm curious to see how these different characters and players react to the moves being made, and maybe how they feel about being kept in the dark regarding some very important things going on that basically only the main character and the scientist lady he works with are really fully aware of. So yeah, very excited for seeing how this wraps up. I am interested to see if it hits the same high for me that Unlimited's ending does. The longer I've sat with it, I truly think Muv-Luv Unlimited is just maybe one of my favorite endings to anything I've ever experienced. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I need either of you to read Muv-Luv so bad.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
I mean, let me be honest. Well, there's a lot of things on the list, but it's on the list.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully in the next few weeks I'll wrap it up, because like I'm kind of itching just to, like, I've been reading this thing for like a year in total, the whole trilogy, and it's like I'm ready. I am so ready to see how it wraps. So. Yeah, that's about it for me this week.
Sick.
Yeah.
Mel.
Do I continue the visual novel segment, or?
Do you have other stuff?
Yeah, I do. So I can do that first.
You could do other stuff, and then we could wrap on Tsui no Sora if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So, first of all, this is something I forgot to mention. I finished last week. I finished Phantasy Star 3.
Oh yeah.
How do you like it? This is the one that people more broadly are kind of weaker on, but people in our immediate circle are like, actually, it's pretty good, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah. You know what? I'm more in line with our circle. I like this one.
That's why we're there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just true. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if you know the gimmick of this one.
Nope.
But the main gimmick of this... Well, first of all, this is made by a different team, because the team that made Phantasy Star 2 was working on some other shit, featuring some kind of blue rodent who goes fast.
Ew.
And so there was a different team, and they made this game that feels a lot smoother to play, is a lot easier, and therefore is a lot less frustrating than fucking Phantasy Star 2, which was
you didn't need to apply fix patches to double your money in XP.
No,
and it still didn't feel like enough.
yeah. It was a bit of a repetitive game, but you know, it's still smooth, decent enough. The main gimmick of this one is the generation system, where I will just post this, and you can see, where you have like basically 3 chapters, kind of, and at the end of each chapter, your hero marries one of 2 women, and that decides the next chapter.
I see.
RPG Shrine ass website. Oh, I love this.
Well, yes, RPG Shrine was the most useful place. For my
it always is. It always is to this day.
So just
I love the contrast between the titles of the subtitles of the first 2 splits. Niall's Adventure, Rebellion against Lune, The Light of a Pendant versus Cyborgs Attack.
Yeah, so I went Niall's Adventure, and then after that add Adam's Adventure. It does seem worth noting that the 3rd gen is mostly the same, but like some of them are just longer than others, and there's interesting changes.
Oh, The Witcher 2.
Yeah.
Sorry. In terms of structure, this is like the you get the first chapter, and then the second chapter is like depending on which route you went, you get a completely different game, and then the 3rd chapter is just the same.
Yeah. There's also, I think, next time I play, and maybe I should have done, but next time I play, I'll do this. I'll do Aang's Adventure, because there's a thing where there's like basically like 2 quote-unquote races, the one which has magic and one who doesn't. And so the first protagonist, Rice, has no magic, and only one of the 2 women he marries has magic, which Niall does not have magic. So I didn't have much magic outside of like maybe some healing magic for like most of my playthrough. And then Ain's kids both have their own form of offensive magic, though it seems like Sean is one of the most magic and also has like the longest campaign, so that's interesting. So
I was not a Sega child nor a Phantasy Star person. Is this the first one on the Genesis, or was
second,
2 on the...
Second.
Okay, so 2 is also on the Genesis. Yeah. All right.
There's some fun quirks, like in Y'all's Adventure, you get one party member who's like a woman who's like dormant in a temple, who you do not meet in Ain's Adventure. So in the third...
I see.
But she's also like the party member in the third gen, because she has one of the weapons of fate, I guess you could call them. And so Ain's children have to go wake her up to add her to the party.
I see.
However, she's also one of Niel's wife options, and the one I picked. So I married her, which means Adan is her son, and Adan has a twin sister who gets like her weapon instead and takes her place in the party. However, if you marry the other girl, she goes back to the temple to sleep, and so you have to wake her up again if you pick Niel's other wife option. I
see.
So that's fun. Also, as a party member, the villain of Niel's Adventure, who you beat and become friends with, he comes kind of chill after you beat him in Niel's Adventure, and he's like maybe a bit less chill in Ain's Adventure from what I read. And so his daughter joins your party in both, in all versions of the game, in the third gen. However, in Niel's Adventure, she's like a healer, because, she's breaks peace, and she's more of a fighter in Ain's Adventure's kids. And I think that's some cool stuff they're playing with.
Yeah. Nifty. How long are these, like, chapters, right?
Honestly, it took me like 2-3 hours. I was actually like, this is a really short game.
Each one?
Yeah.
That's kind of... That feels like
that's
a nice
really
little, like, you could do one per session.
Yeah, I did.
Like...
That's what I did for the second and third gen. I did like one per session. And I was like, do I want to go back and do Ain's Adventure? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I hit credits.
That sounds really pleasant.
I was like, this sounds cool, but it also sounds really fucking miserable having to do all this fucking game to get all the different things. But that's really short. That's really cool.
Yeah. I was like, I kind of just felt like I just looked up the other endings on YouTube. It's like, Ain goes to different parts of the map, but like mostly you just get a cutscene at the start and a cutscene at the end that's mostly different, and maybe some dialogue difference, but it's not that crazy.
Yeah, I mean the main if it's just the second generation one that's like really different, that'd be what. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
there's actually like a playthrough I saw on YouTube that was like I didn't watch the full thing because I did most of the game already, but he did like Niel's Adventure, then went to Ain's Adventure, and then did Sean's Adventure, but then also like spliced in the cutscenes for the other three just to be like, okay, just so you know, here's what happens in the other ones.
Damn, okay. That's like, this feels like something I would have done.
I was gonna say this does sound like this person is like an alternate dimension you that was a Sega child.
Yeah. Because as we all know, Brad did both the Law and Chaos routes in SMT.
Absolutely, that's what he did.
Yeah.
Where are they?
It's like...
Where's the Law and Chaos ending of Shin Megami Tensei? What happens in them?
Me in my car seeing the Law and Chaos endings like Arashi seeing his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, one of your party members through all three gens is a robot named Ren, and you get upgrades for him where he like turns into a boat and a plane, and it's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a weird game because it definitely like has a different visual style, and it seems like it's not connected, but then the lore reveals come and it's like, oh, it's connected in these ways to the events of Phantasy Star 2. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And yeah, it's just a smoother experience. It's just cool. And I just, when I see people online say, oh yeah, this game is the worst one compared to Phantasy Star 2, I'm like, what are you talking about?
I just want to say on your emulator, I really appreciate how it's called Phantasy Star 3 Generations of Doom.
Yeah.
That is a great gap.
There is a very big gap.
Well, you know.
It's like it's like it was too big on the post-it note, and they had to turn it around before they could read the of Doom bit.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. You were gonna say?
I was gonna make a dumb joke, so you should say your serious thing before I make my dumb joke.
No, you should make your dumb joke because I was gonna transition. Probably.
Oh, okay. I think that because 16-bit era is where you start to get these like RPGs that are like, oh, what if we did like Generations, because you get like Fire Emblem also doing this around the same time. None of these games need a Flit Asano.
True.
He's so important. Yeah. He's so important. I love him so. What a fucking awful man.
Yeah. But yeah, I've
this little. Oh, this little. I want people not familiar with Gundam Age to go Google Flit Asano child. All right, and look at the image. I want you to look at Flit Asano. All right, look at him. I now want you to reckon with the fact that this boy, this little blobbo, loves genocide so much. It's his favorite thing.
He loves to do it for the love of the game.
He's in it for the love of the game. When he is presented with an opportunity to just sit back and let his hated enemy all get genocided for him by accident, he goes, no, that's not good enough. I need to personally press the button that fires the nuke that does it. Otherwise, it's not real. It doesn't count. What a legend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, moved on to Phantasy Star 4, which is feels like a smooth as butter game. It's really cool so far.
I was about to say, is 4 the one that everyone loves?
Yes.
That seemed like it, yeah.
Firing all cylinders.
Very nice.
Also, as of yesterday, I managed to cram in a game that I started last year and took way too long for me to beat, and I don't know why it did, other than just like lack of enthusiasm to go back to it. But I did cram it in time because October, and it felt appropriate. I finished Castlevania: Dawn of Sorrow.
Oh, cool!
Oh, nice.
The sequel to Aria of Sorrow.
Yeah.
This is the second Soma Cruise game, which means I got souls and stuff again. This was in the launch window of the DS, which means this is a game with the really annoying touchscreen gimmicks that I really hate. Like,
no.
If you want to beat, you have these magic seals, and if you want to beat the boss, once you beat the boss, you have to input basic. There's a touch.
You have to draw.
Yeah. But on the Dominus collection, they change it to a QuickTime event instead, which is still fucking annoying. Because if you don't do it, then you have to redo the last state. The boss recovers health. You have to go beat him again. Not like he's not full, but he's like he gets like 20% of his health back.
I think there's a ROM hack that just completely takes those out.
And you know what? I would recommend that way of playing this game, because Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
I kind of just assumed the collection would have done that.
No, they just like, hey, this mechanic's here, but as a QuickTime event. And I'm like, well, I wish you could turn this off. Like, this is miserable. But otherwise, it's a nifty game. Not as good as Aria, I think. It feels a bit slower. There's a weird weapon crafting mechanic where it's like, well, now if you have excess souls, you can use that to make better weapons, which means some of the best weapons, instead of being things you can find, are like, well, you have to craft it, which is why I spent like 2 hours yesterday grinding a really annoying soul just to get the best weapon to fight the final boss, because the final boss was annoying, but the plot of the game, it seems to be Dracula's castle is back, and some lady is got like two-dimensional sicko guys to be like her candidates to become the new Dracula, and someone's like, wait, I'm the new Dracula, what the fuck?
I can't believe Dracula's castle is back.
Can't believe it. Keeps coming back.
Because we destroyed it. We got rid of that last time.
Yeah.
It's back. Wow.
I mean, it is funny in the Aria of Sora context where it's like, well, there literally hasn't been Dracula's castle since 1999 because they really did kill him for real that one time. Mm-hmm. However, somehow,
it'll be revealed in the Fortnite crossover.
Yeah, I can't believe that was real. I was seeing jokes about that for years. I only realized that was a real thing last year.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Castlevania is cool.
Are you gonna play Charlotte Jonathan next?
I need to see.
Is that a video game? It's just two names.
No, it's Portrait of Ruin.
Yeah, Portrait of Ruin. When you can tag
two characters and you tag, and they go Charlotte, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I would like to play Portrait of Ruin because I hear that one's really good. However, I also am like, for dumb poo-poo brain reasons, I'm like, well, that's a sequel to Castlevania Bloodlines, and so therefore I should play Castlevania Bloodlines on the Genesis first.
I see.
But that's a shorter game, so it's like, it's also probably a harder game, but And
then at some point you can play Order of Ecclesia, which is a game that I wish I liked more because that main character is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard divisive things about Order of Ecclesia. Like, if people seem to be on it. My friend Cam is also. I had a similar discussion with him where he was like, "Yeah, I'm not as big on it myself."
It's been, so to be fair, it's been many years since I last touched that game, but I remember just being like, "Man, this game seems so sick," and like I love the art and like design and everything. And then it's just like, oh, I don't know if I really like playing this one that much.
The impression I get is like Order of Ecclesia is either in your top 3 or your bottom 1 of Igavanians.
I don't know if I'd have to think on it. I don't think it's bottom 1 for me, but...
What's bottom 1 then?
I don't know. I've never really thought about them in this, like, capacity, frankly.
Because I presume, like, well... For the
I've also not played all of them.
The quality isn't necessarily that big of a gap between them.
So. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, this might be... I don't feel like I like Symphony of the Night as much as most people do. I think it's great, but I'm not through the mood.
That's one of the best games ever made. What the fuck are you talking about?
I like Aria of Sora way more than...
I mean, that's an acceptable answer.
Yeah. Aria is definitely my favorite.
The thing is, I feel like I'd need to replay Symphony in, like... Because I played it in 2019, which is like a big gap between when I played it and when I played these other games, which was last year. So...
I think Aria is, like... number 1 with a bullet for me, and then like the order kind of I don't really have too much. Yeah, I don't really have like any big thoughts on ranking beyond that for me. But I like Aria of Sora a lot. That's a great video game.
It is a cool video game. When you fight Julius, that's sick.
Yeah.
I should play a Castlevania.
Yes.
I've never done that.
They're good. I need to play more of the classic Vanias. I never beat Rondo of Blood.
You know what? Hang on a second. How long to beat? Castlevania is 3 hours in length. Okay, well there we go. That's my next video game.
Let's go. Anyway, yeah. That is me as far as video games you press buttons to do actual actions.
Alright, Tsui no Sora spoilers here. Right?
Guess what? I also finished Super Hibi. So
oh, okay.
That's why I wanted to do Tsui no Sora first. So
Tsui no Sora spoilers. What the fuck is wrong with Takuji?
First of all.
Yeah.
Content warnings probably.
Yes. So this is a denpa game. This is an eroge. There is, frankly, there's a lot of sexual assault. There's a lot of rape. And it's, that's how it goes here.
Yeah.
So, and also there's a lot of suicide.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the game is about.
Yeah.
I think that covers it.
Yeah, I think that should be good.
Also, that should be fine for the purposes of this conversation. So Takuji did all that, and he started talking to the magical girl that he keeps drawing on the wall. Takuji rocking up and being like, I've stopped being a dweeb, and now I'm a worse type of dweeb. I'm a guy who thinks he's a cult. I'm Jesus now. I think I'm a cult leader. And everyone buys into his whole shit, and he's got like this fake. He's just kind of riffing to come up with cult shit. And what a strange guy.
He's a strange guy.
I don't know. I think he might need some. I might need to talk to someone. You posted this GIF last week. There's a bit in. Let me hang on. Yeah. So, is there a full image context for the Arabic Takuji bit in here?
I don't know why the Arabic is there. I don't know why there's a bit where he has LinkedIn on his shoulder. I just saw this posted once, and I'm like, "This is the funniest thing ever," even though I don't understand it. And you know what? I beat the game. I still don't understand it. I have context for some of these
There's
though.
great. So I'm not necessarily. You kind of framed like the outline of Tsui no Sora a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
I'm just gonna pick bits out from Tsui no Sora that I'm like I would say
first. I would say it's interesting. Before that, just to say it's interesting that the game starts in like the most normal, and it kind of just escalates to the most batshit and doesn't really stop.
Yes. I think ultimately this game being rooted between Ayana and what's her name? Kotomi?
Yeah.
Is ultimately for nothing. I truly think you didn't need the Ayana root stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a thing where it was like you do it because that's what you do.
Because you have to get a sex scene with Ayana at the end.
Yeah, I think the Ayana ending is kind of neat, and then it does just have a 10-minute sex scene tacked on the end, and I'm like, well, this is 10 more minutes. When I'm just after midnight, I'm trying to finish reading this. I don't care.
Yes, the Ayana ending is like, I feel like something that maybe could be incorporated into the other route as well. Although the ending where Kotomi seems to have become Ayana.
Yes. The Kotomi ending is really cool and vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm mostly like, because once you get through the two kind of quote unquote normal routes, which is just the same events from the perspectives of two different characters, which is cool.
Yeah.
You then get to the Zakura route, which is the prelude to her jumping off the roof of the school.
Yeah.
And it opens with she is a rape victim. And we get a lot of that. And I was like, okay, this is why this happens.
Yes.
Then her abuser jumps off the roof,
or falls off.
then she meets two, or something happens. Unclear. It's never actually answered.
Which I think is good.
Yeah. And then she meets two people who claim to have been like her best friends in like a past life when they were like magical girl warriors of justice.
Yes.
Fighting to save the world, and they have to reawaken their powers by doing the spiral matai.
Yes.
Which is how they have to have a near-death experience. And Zakuro falls like right into like believing this wholeheartedly, completely, and is eventually like way more committed than the other two to this. This is like I truly don't like know what to think necessarily. This is mostly just like stuff that I was looking at happening and like sitting back and going, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
It was like the overwhelming emotion. But I do generally find the internal monologue of, you know, Zakuro and Takuji kind of compelling, barring when it falls into like being kind of like there's something unique to it until it gets to sex, at which point it starts being it just becomes standard. Just yes. We just, you know, it's like there's a it's like I could have made, by after like a couple of sex scenes in this game, I could have made a bingo sheet and got bingo every time for every single scene, and it was like I'm just bored. I'm not even shocked at this point. I'm just bored.
That was me. Like, I basically was shocked during the Katomi one in her route.
Yes,
and then after that, I was just like, please just let me speed through this.
Yes. And so like I find Takuji, you know, and his the weird shit where he's kind of gathering disciples, kind of I found it quite compelling for like a big stupid like psychological horror thing, and then he would start, you know, getting into like this like, oh, we have to make the teacher like debase herself stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm like, I see how you've drawn the line, but also I'm like, we all know this is just this. You've just got to put this in there. You have to sell the thing, and I don't really care. I'm like, I think another thing about the Takuji route that I quite liked was there are way more CGs for just the various environments around the place. So you'd wind up with way more like full screen looks at, and so it would feel like he's much more like he's experiencing the world more directly than like we're there with him, versus our kind of our usual detached perspective with the framing.
One of the funniest things to happen in that route is when he's running home from the visions, and then he gets home and sees the firing my laser guy.
I was okay. Hang on, I have to find the image and show Brad. Tsui no Sora eye face.
I lost my
Here we go. He gets home after having some delusions and then sees this. Which is like which is like such an absurd. It's like I'm like this is not scary. This is yeah. I also just generally like, as I was saying before, I like the presentation of this game. I like the eye. I like the big eye that's just kind of like signaling to you what to expect out of an upcoming scene. I liked the ending of Takuji's route, where he has a completely different conversation. Well, no, not a completely different, but he has a whole additional conversation with the main character than the main character remembers having with Takuji.
Yeah, there's a lot of things left out of Yukito's view, which is interesting.
And it's like, but it's also interesting in terms of like, because like the stuff left out of Yukito's view, but it's stuff that's like outside of his perspective, whereas this is like a conversation that he was a part of that he doesn't have the full account of, and it raises the question of is this conversation actually happening, or is Takuji like imagining this like half of this conversation?
Yes.
Is Takuji assigning more importance to Yukito than Yukito? I mean, certainly Takuji is assigning more importance to his relationship with Yukito than Yukito is. Like Takuji's like, you know, I think I did. I always did love you, Yukito, and Yukito's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? And like that, his reaction in Yukito's account stops there, but in Takuji's view, Yukito says, "Are you like gay?" And then Takuji says, "No, I don't think so." And so I'm like, is this some kind of internal thing for Takuji? I don't know. But like also I can believe Yukito just not assigning importance to everything that Takuji says and it not being part of his account. There's a certain like just the game never letting you like just get comfortable and believe that anything's real in a way that I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. That's what I like about the Kotomi ending, especially, is just kind of like, the fuck? What?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I like Tsui no Sora a lot. I also like that it was really fucking quick.
Yes, that is a good point against for it, I should say.
Yeah. Speaking
what if it was longer though?
Yeah, what if it was like way longer though? Here's the thing. I am kind of getting the thing like, maybe next year I will.
Yeah. So that's the thing where I don't know how much I should say because I don't think I want to do full spoilers because I'm like,
yeah,
you might be interested.
I think at this point I am interested, but we will see.
Yeah. In that case, I will keep that as part of my discussion in mind.
Okay. Super Hibi.
Yes. The Wonderful Everyday.
Is it wonderful?
I'd say it's pretty good, though maybe echoing remarks made by Brad. I feel like I like the first 2/3 significantly more than like the last stretch.
Okay.
Though also I will say like there are people who like the last stretch, so don't make that like a definitive statement. Mm-hmm. Try it yourself. I think is interesting. First of all, there's like a more blown up thing, and I feel like that comes across especially in Takuji's chapter, which is a third of the game. And you get a lot more of him as a Terori, and maybe you are a fucked up little freak, but also I understand how this happened, kind of. He's definitely been like a victim of abuse and bullying, etc., so forth. It informs a lot. When something I forgot to say the first time I brought it up, which is like after I finished the Takuji chapter, I was like, I am not sure at this point which characters are actually real. Which is a thing that the story brings to the table in terms of the things it's doing differently than Tsui no Sora, because it's not like a one-to-one remake. It's doing things differently and goes a different direction. I'd say, for instance, the fact that Takuji chapter has moved from the last thing you read to like one of the first things you read is, I think, a significant difference.
Yeah.
Where it seems like the inversion of the way things go, where like you don't know it at first in Yuki's chapters that things are not as they seem, and then Takuji goes off the deep end, and then from that point onwards, things get more grounded as you progress after that point. Because the way the game works, you have kind of 7 chapters, and because Skaji is that kind of person, they're all named after chapters of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass.
I see.
So Yuki's chapters are called like Down the Rabbit Hole 1 and 2. Takuji's chapter is called It's My Own Invention. Then you get Zakuro's chapter, which is called Looking Glass Insects. And after that, you get chapters by new character Tomosana Yuki, spelled with 2 U's, so you know he's a clone of the other Yuki.
Yep, that's how that. Yep.
Oh, that's how it works.
Luke Skywalker.
But yeah, Tomosana's chapters are called Jabberwocky 1 and 2, with like a brief, like 2-hour short intermission chapter called which streamed it from the perspective of Takuji's little sister Hasuki. So you get more expansion of like, Takuji's family background.
Okay.
His mom was part of a cult, and maybe that's sort of like why.
Okay. Well, maybe there
he's
we
a
go.
reference for like where did the July 20th thing come from? Well, maybe this cult had it, and it was like kicking around the internet. Also, there's a lot of like, the fact that the internet matters as like part of the like. How is it that Takuji is able to like get a whole bunch of followers at school? And part of it is like the school has an underground unofficial message board, and there's maybe some people emotions are heightened because of how everyone's freaking out about things like Zakuro committed suicide, and then everyone got like a text message from Zakuro being like, it hurts and it's like, that's creepy.
Yeah,
why did that happen? And sort of like how technology has changed. Also, it's fun that this game takes place in 2012. As far as like, end of the world date.
Yeah. We had one of those recently, didn't we? I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
It was. I found out about it like the day after. I was like, was the world supposed to end yesterday? That's funny.
The Rapture?
I have a really fond memory of like, this is just one of those weird like things you just remember for like no good reason. But I remember as a kid learning about the like, the Mayan calendar says that everything's gonna go to shit and the world's gonna end 2012 or whatever. And being like walking home after some other kid told me that, and I'm like, that kind of freaks me out. I have a feeling when 2012 happens and I'm old enough to think about this more, I'm not going to be worried about it at all. And then when 2012 came around, I was like, damn, young me was right. This shit is not real.
You know what's funny? That I remember? The day that the world was supposed to end, allegedly, was the day that like Gangnam Style got 1 million views on YouTube. Which is funny.
We should watch 2012 as a tokusatsu movie.
I don't think it's a tokusatsu movie. 2012 would be so much better if it was all models and shit.
Models, yeah.
Is worth noting that Scott G said, if I made this game like maybe a couple years later, then I would have to account for the fact of like Twitter and YouTube.
Right.
Also, nothing in this game, like Zakuro is like a blogger and talks on bullying forum posts. Her story is actually pretty different. Like, I'd say Yuki and Takuji's like there's a lot of like overlap and like there's a lot of the same events but also like expanded and like minimal changes.
When you say like different, do you mean like I consider the Zakuro chapter to have two halves. Is it both halves that are different, or like the first or the second?
The first half.
That's definitely the half that's just like, this is like this is like gratuitous, in a way that is like very unpleasant, but like, I can obviously see like the reasoning, but this is like, I would if I was gonna make something more unique. It's like
the thing where I said like it's like the kite thing, like it still has the scene in there, but it's also like like the Zakuro scene starts like the chapter starts like a lot earlier in the month, and she's like in a lull of her bullying, and it's sort of like she's like a depressed child who's like trying to find excitement in the world while also dealing with like a tense school situation.
I think,
and like
I definitely think there's an extremity to the Tsui no Sora version that maybe robs the leap to the second, to her engaging with the spiral Matai stuff. That said, I would also say there's like a heightened extremity to the Tsui version where it's almost like there's a period of 2 days where where the bullies decide to like be on one and escalate and do a bunch of crazy shit in the span of 2 days. That's crazy that you do all of this. I see.
It was a case of like, oh yeah, he did research and found incidents of this happening in real bullying, but it didn't happen within the span of 2 days to the same person. It was like all across Japan kind of thing.
I see.
And of course, unfortunately, it's like there is rape involved in that, just the same as like this one. It's just that there's only one like graphic. I kind of just sped through that one just because I was like, well, I know what the text is.
I read this. I read this last time. I'm good.
Yeah. And there is like it's like then where she like breaks basically and becomes like goes from basically like, oh, I hate the world kind of thing, and then she gets involved into like the Spiral Matai Angel advice stuff. Although another change is that like when they tell her about what the Spiral Matai is and their regrets or like their hesitations, like when they're like on the ground floor and haven't reached the roof yet, and she drags them into the elevator.
I see.
Which is fun touch. So there's interesting changes there, but also just like Zakuro is a more present character in like the first parts of the story, because like in Suinasora you basically don't get much of her until her chapter, and then she's basically like, I hate my life, except now I'm gonna be a magical girl and it's okay now. And in this you get a lot more of her from an outsider perspective, where she feels like almost like a pixie dream girl from the outside looking in, and then you get more of her interiority, and it's like, oh, that's interesting.
I found it very interesting that both Zakuro and Takuji have a magical girl element to it, but they didn't and Zakuro passed on like an idea to Takuji. I knew that, but then realizing that they didn't really have any contact, and Takuji's stuff is not actually connected to Zakuro's stuff at all.
There's a lot more of like a not too much like a maybe sell it, but like there's a lot more like they have a pre-establishing meeting before things go to shit, though it's complicated by like some of the things that is different from Suinasora that Tsui does, that's kind of like a subversion of expectations, the big like mystery of the game. Also, here's a random screenshot of like where there's one part where like I think in Suinasora where Takuji goes to the roof and meets a weird spiral guy or something.
Okay.
DNA thing. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Numbers or something.
I do remember that.
And in Hibi instead is like Ragnarok is happening between the billions of white Ruru versus the millions of black Ruru.
Okay.
And then she's like, oh no, Ruru died after rebuilt her corpse, but he doesn't build her property, and so when the next time she shows up again, she looks like this.
Okay. I see.
And yeah, there's fun stuff there. The stuff that the teacher goes through is crazy. I'm not going to talk about that because it's.
I see.
It feels kind of worse. But also, It just, but also like you don't. She leaves to do something that's worse, and then comes back, and you don't see the stuff. She's kind of like subjected to similar treatment, but you don't actually see it.
I see.
But also it's wilder. Also important change is like you have sort of like the two siblings in Takuji's root, who are like kind of become his right hand man kind of thing. They're still in the story, but they're like reduced role significantly. And instead, their role is replaced by expanding the role of a character who gets like 3 lines and 1 sprite. In Suinasora, named Kimika.
Oh yeah.
Who many will know as like terribly online girls like to go, oh, she's like me for real.
Oh, I see.
And then I play the game and I'm like, absolutely nothing of what people, my cultural osmosis prepared me for her actual deal, and she's actually the best character ever.
I see.
She's really good. She's got a lot of interesting things going on. It's sort of like she ends up being Takuji's like right hand man, but also like Takuji's constantly pointing out like she doesn't seem as bought into my shit as much as everyone else, so why is she the most committed to helping me? And she's like, oh, who can say? And she's like tied in a lot more with like Zakuro's backstory and is heavily involved there. And she's got like a lot of interesting things going on. Basically most people who engaged with Kimiko probably only refer to her like this, but
I see.
But yeah, she's good. Strong character. What else is there? Ayana is good as usual.
I had seen the screenshot that you sent of Ayana from Super Hibi saying, I can't remember the line. It was something to do with cum. And I was like, this is an edit. This can't be real. And then I played Tsui no Sora, and I was like, oh, that was real.
Yeah. What happens is
she just says shit like that.
Yuki meets Ayana on the roof. Is like, oh, Ayana, looks like you're full of spunk today. And she's like, yes, I'm full of cum.
Thank you, Ayana.
Thank you. I will say that when Tomo-sane takes over the narrative, is when the story kind of just becomes more of a generic kind of eroge, so it's kind of like, oh, it stops being like hard to recommend for like shocking reasons and more hard to recommend for normal otaku reasons. And it kind of...
Wait, did you say this someone else takes over the narrative?
Yeah, Tomo-sane, when his chapters are the last ones. And so he kind of becomes like the... Because he's the one who's most aware of what's going on, kind of. And so because the final chapters focus on him, things kind of like end up going in a direction where like, this is like the stuff that... The new expanded mystery that I found compelling is kind of like resolved in a way that I find kind of uninteresting.
I see.
But that's just me. But since you're interested, I don't want to get into that too much.
Okay.
And I'm curious what you'll say about that in the future. I will say that like there's two normal endings from Tomo-sane's point of view. Hold on, I need to get the fucking... Oh yeah, also there's some weird amount of martial arts in this, especially in Tomo-sane's stuff, which means you do get this really delightful sprite of Takuji.
Yes! Stand up Takuji, let's fucking go!
I feel like Takuji is just so much more interesting to rotate in my head, like after spending like 12 hours reading his mind rather than as opposed to the Tsui no Sora version. I think that's like one benefit to Tsui being as long as it is. It's just
I see.
Oh yeah, baby girl Takuji.
Baby girl. Oh no. Okay. Maybe I have to read Tsui. There's two normal endings with Tomo-sane, and one of them gets got in the 8 years later full voice patch, because a lot of the male characters didn't have voices originally, which is kind of fucked up. Mm-hmm. You get there's an extended epilogue called Knock on Heaven's Door, which is like whatever, half of it's sex scenes or whatever. But then after you get the two normal endings, there's a secret ending you can get by going back to the same decision, which is called End Sky 2, where basically everything's happened and Yuki wakes up on the roof and sees Ayana and is like, what the fuck just happened? I shouldn't be standing here, I don't think. Also, why is all these people just having normal days after all that? And Ayana is like, well, here's some philosophical bullshit. And Yuki's like, what? And so he's like, oh, this is the most Tsui no Sora ending. Yeah.
And so that's why
I was like, well, so they right at the end they go, oh, by the way, this was a Tsui no Sora game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it is, but
yeah. Cool.
And yeah, there's one thing I didn't do is like a lot of people, because they block off your ability to read Rabbit Hole 1 after you read it the first time, you're basically blocked off from being able to read it again.
Okay.
And then you get the ability again when you basically got all the endings, and then the Jabberwocky 2 chapter select on the screen turns into Ayana doing like a level select, like, hey, which of these endings do you want to see? And then you can pick the going back to down the Rabbit Hole 1, and then she like laughs at you when you do it. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Have fun with that.
I see.
You're still dreaming. But yeah, there's, on the whole, I'd say, especially because like Tomo-sane stuff only comes in like the last third, so it's like by volume, most of it's like the cool stuff that I like, and then there's still stuff to enjoy in the later half, but it's also like the priorities kind of shift in a way where like, this is a bit more normal as a resolution compared to what came for it. Mm-hmm. But there's still maybe value in that, and then there's like a happier ending at least, but maybe you don't value that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's a pretty good like, and I think as like the horror ending, the Tsui no Sora ending for Takuji and his cult is pretty good. I like it, it's this very shocking scene, but I think it's like I don't know. I think
of splat noises in a row.
Well, yes, all the conversation between Takuji and Yukito, where it's possible that Takuji is not having this conversation with Yukito, but is instead fantasizing about this conversation with Yukito, maybe, or maybe Yukito just doesn't remember
part
it right.
Of this game.
Yeah.
In fact, what I will say is like even though the UI is more normal and modern, like more typical compared to this, one thing that it do is like play around with like ADV versus novel mode, where often ADV is used for conversations that a character is more grounded in, while novel mode is used for more like, this is probably a thing happening in their head kind of thing. So that's cool. Where like the ADV sprites being sort of like on screen are more like grounding you, whereas like the actual novel thing is like a barrier between like your character and the world around them. And it's interesting what they do.
I have remembered. I do have a thought about because I mentioned the use of magical girls in both Zakuro and Takuji's view in Tsui no Sora. I do have a thought in terms of the general kind of, there's a degree of like the anime kind of like your life ends when you leave school thing, right? Because like there's a lot of like fear of like it's weird that Takuji's stuff is kind of ironically motivated by a fear of change, because like there's the whole thing where it's like, well, it's the everyday is the same, and that's terrifying. It's terrifying that this could just go on forever. Like
Ayana basically breaks something like, what if you had like the perfect life and you just had to live that life for 1 trillion years, and then you get bored of it, but then every day you try and change it, you still wake up the next day and it's the same day.
And I like that's all very like, but it's interesting that I think a lot of the actual like underlying fear is like a fear. There's almost kind of a fear of growing up in the motivations here. I think maybe. I had a better grasp of this when I just finished the game, because it was something I was kind of honing in on. It's kind of gone now, but it was.
I kind of get what you're saying.
There's a lot of like because it's so deliberately weird. It kind of evokes feelings in you that you can't necessarily hold on to for very long.
Yes. Yeah. I will also say, just for reference, Tomasani is also maybe like kind of works in a similar way to Yuki as like an alternate Yukito. Okay. Just like they have different aspects of it.
Yeah.
Just like characterization.
Wow.
Also, is not like related per se, but like, hold on, let me just see if I can find it. There was like one, I don't know when I'll probably wait a little bit, but I'll get to it within time. Just like, because I don't want to go straight into the same story 3 times. I want to do the Tsui no Sora remake, but maybe not like right away.
Yeah.
Maybe give it like a month or so. But I am curious now to be like, because like Tsubihime came out like basically 10 years after Tsui no Sora, and then like the Tsui no Sora remake was both made specifically for and packaged with the 10th anniversary editions of Tsubihime, so you can't actually, it's like not a separate game that you get, more like it's a thing that's bundled in with the newer editions of Tsubihime for the 10th anniversary onwards. And so I think that's interesting to see like what is the revisiting Tsui no Sora in like a more faithful, I guess, close to the original, while still like you've changed as a person in like not just the 10 years since, but the 20 years since the original game, and also 10 years since Tsubihime. And so I'm kind of interested in how it goes. Also, I saw this image of this tapestry they're selling of like Ayana with like the design is the remake one, the 2020 one, but like you have the 2 Ayanas in the background with their original and Tsubihime outfits. I like, that's cool.
That's cool.
Ayana's cool. She's just good.
Ayana is cool. How real is Ayana? Good question. Is Ayana there?
She's like, Ayana, are you real? And she's like, I'm just Otanashi Ayana.
That's true.
That's
I
true.
love this. Sorry, I was scrolling past and saw the image of Stand Up Takuji again.
He's so good.
Fighting my weird thoughts. Oh no, my weird thoughts got hands. Okay.
Yeah, that's I think the voice acting for Ayana sells a lot of her style. It's fun.
Oh,
it's interesting hearing like a
right.
voiced version of these characters.
Yeah.
Takuji's voice is perfect.
Okay.
Good voice acting can go a long way.
Yeah.
Bad voice acting
despite this,
can go a long way as well.
I was reading another
In the other
visual
direction.
novel today because I was like, this is a thing that I need to use as a break between the remake, and also I need to finish some stuff. And I was like, there is something to be said about how not having voice acting means you can just read faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe voice acting is a mistake. Who can say? But yeah, I think with it, since we're not doing a spoilery talk on Hibi, I'm fine with that. I leave it as it is.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Is that us for this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I checked and there was no email. So
Oh, no emails. Also, that is a podcast. You can find us online at ultra_QUEUE on Twitter. We're also on Blue Sky at ultraQUEUE. I am also on Blue Sky. I'm at Red November. That's my plugs. Mel, your plugs.
You can follow me under the swimming pool. But alternatively, you can send an email to ultrapod@gmail.com or, we have the coffee ultra.
I loved it when he said, yeah, this is a pretty comfortable place when you get over the smell of mold. And I was like, oh no, Takuji. You shouldn't be down here, Takuji. Brad, your plugs.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Beinvoked. That's BEINVOKED. On mostly YouTube and Blue Sky.
Sick. We will be back next week for 3 more episodes of Ultraman 80. That is 3 until the
We're
end.
closing in on the end, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got like 4 sessions left, I think, right?
Yeah, and then
Maybe
If
even
even
less, I'm not
that,
sure.
maybe less. Yeah.
and then we got
Yeah.
some stuff, and then we got Tiga.
Yeah. We actually have a fair amount of stuff between Tiga,
Okay.
but,
Alrighty. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
later.
夜空にキラキラ星が輝く地球もそうだよ一つの星だみんなで仲良く生きてゆこうよ君らは誰でも地球人明日が君たちを待っているのだ明日もいいことがきっとあるだろう悲しい夜には星をご覧よ涙も乾くよ宇宙を見たらいつでも大きな夢を持とうよ君らは誰でも地球人明日も太陽が空に昇るよ明日もいいことがきっとあるだろう 明日が君たちを待っているのだ明日もいいことがきっとあるだろう明日が君たちを待っているのだ明日もいいことがきっとあるだろう明日が